Going against an oppressive system, it is a form of activism. Agriculture has always captivated me, I think. Being able to dig into something, being able to not only have, the obvious root of a plant, but what is the root cause of systemic oppression? There's a term that we use called root bound. When a plant is stuck inside of a pot and it doesn't have the ability to get its roots free, and they bind themselves and they twist themselves and they turn into this knot, stunting the growth of the plant. So loosening the roots, putting it in a larger pot, being able to give it, that new life.
It's a form of therapy. And I know that's something that people in our community need a lot as well. A lot of healing.
I think it's important for the Black community to learn about farming, just so we have that form of self-sustainability. It's a family because everyone knows the work they're putting in and how selfless everyone's being to get to a greater goal.
Just being around the people, part of Nurturing Roots, we're free and we're creative. For me, also, a part of liberation is liberating yourself from generational curses. We can go back to the 1800s and 1900s, slavery. We had to eat certain foods which caused us to have more heart disease, more cancers, more asthma.
Just standing up for our basic needs, to me, is something I've always seen us have to do. I found ways to, combat this system that is constantly oppressing us. A lot of folks didn't have the opportunity to get really wholesome food. Because we're unhealthy, then their healthcare system works. Because their education is poor, then we didn't even know we were unhealthy. Think about how, our culture is tokenized and it's just not fair. And everything's cool about us, but keeping us healthy and keeping us educated. When I'm able to do this work, people just tell me that it touches them in a place they haven't been touched in a while, When little girls ask me, who's your boss here? And I say, me, it's that's why. Because they don't even expect that. They're gonna have to look to something. So I think about that as all of us. The more of us we have, the more resources we can give, the more opportunities we have to be better plants, to be better human beings, then the better we'll be. And I think all of us, we need that. So if it can be a little piece of, paradise, a little piece of a break, a little piece of something that seems normal to the inner us, then that's what I want to create for us.
On the roadway, I hear chickens wrestling throughout the plants. I hear birds chirping, gates clinging. I feel the wind on my skin, and I hear the roar of airplanes. Sounds like my neighborhood. I feel like I'm at home. Well, my journey began Pike Place Market. My friend and I decided that we wanted to do culinary herbs. I slowly got tired of the tourist scene. The idea of selling some overpriced something to someone just because they're coming to Seattle and they want something that says Seattle on it. So really, I think just capitalism in general. I got hit with the capitalism sting and it was like, ow. I didn't really like being a part of it. So to me, agriculture has been under assault for Black and brown communities for so long that it has been something that we've disregarded as something that we don't want to do. So now when I look at commercial agriculture, it's filled with white folks, and there's not an opportunity for us to have a footprint. 95% of commercial ag is our white farmers. It's crazy. So I wanted to devote more of my time to inspiring my community.
Yeah, so we usually put like peppers and tomatoes, hot crops on this side.
Growing plants and being able to just see them thrive to me is just, it's just reminiscent of, you know, the characteristics that I want in my own life. The calm and peace that I found doing this work, I wanted to share that. Like more than anything, it's like, if you knew what soil could do, it's not just a blemish on your pants or your shoes anymore. Like, this is life.
I feel like we should be able to grow everything at home and cook at home.
Yes.
So that's ultimately like what I'm doing. I want to connect with people who also feel that way.
Yes. Because, yeah, there's times where it's like, it's not at the store.
I think there's another thing about seeing the resilience in plants. For me, it's important to have, you know, a space in the urban community where we can still call home. It's definitely important to have agriculture, local. So really, we're right smack dab in South Seattle. We're right in the middle of the community where I grew up. So how do we get, you know, more Black folks to engage in the farm? Well, we got it here. How do we engage in healthier eating practices? We have it here. Nurturing Roots Farm is a space for healing, for growth definitely, but we're not really into selling produce. We're more so into investing time in our humanity and finding more ways to reconnect to our environment.
Here it's like, wow. You get to breathe in like really good air with all the plants. You know, before I came to Nurturing Roots, I was blind to everything. Like, I'm not looking for a food desert or a food swamp. I also learned about, you know, sustainability, being able to grow my own food. Yeah, I love that because I have not went anywhere else where they've willingly taught me these things, you know.
For me, owning land is very important, specifically in this community, because the cost of living is going up like crazy, and often folks of color in Seattle are not getting the chance to own big plots of land, and especially not focusing on growing food. Agriculture has been shunned in the community because I think since I've grown up, my association has been focused on slaves. It's like, wait a second, these are folks that have actually been, you know, harnessing everything that the community needs to survive. Like, we've been the healers, we've been the practitioners, and making sure that the agriculture is taken care of. But we have the resource of our humanity.
I've wanted to connect with community in this way for a long time, so finally came out and just did it. I think that there's something really beautiful about getting back to our roots, and getting back to a place of stillness.
Often food, you know, it nourishes your body, but it really is that spirit tie to food that I think you get to feel and just nurture when you're growing things. You get to, you know, spend the time with your food that isn't just a transactional engagement on your dinner plate.
I really feel like this is paradise because it doesn't just teach you about the life cycle of plants and about plants. It teaches you about the spirituality of the plant. How well you take care of your plant, it really shows how well you take care of yourself too. If I have a toxic environment that I've planted myself at, then I'm not going to be able to grow. How to, you know, nurture my land, nurture myself, heal others.
It's definitely being able to put your best into something and see a better outcome. It's giving me strength.
You came to the farm. Yes, you're here. I see. Hi, Spider-Man. You came to the farm?
My name is Naima Clark.
I'm executive director at Nurturing Roots Farm on Beacon Hill in South Seattle, and I like to call myself the farm queen. Nurturing Roots came to be because of a dream. I wanted to create something for the community, to create a healthy source of food, to create healthy activities, and also find more ways to reconnect to our environments. But a lot of us in the city, we don't have opportunities, to be able to grow, to be able to actually see a farm, and then know what that means to us and how to kind of take charge of our health. Very important. So through doing a lot of community justice organizing here at the Black Power Epicenter, I was able to acquire this plot, but it was an old pea patch for a number of years. I think about 15 years it had been just growing and overgrowing, really, with a lot of invasives. And I believe Bethany Church just knew that because we were doing a lot of social justice organizing, she trusted, the vision, and food access was something that we hadn't really touched. So I think just together with the community and folks that I've been working with, they agreed that the farm stuff, you need to get out there and start growing.
I'm Nyala, the owner of Sugar Queen Bakery, where I utilize local ingredients from Naima's farm. I love using her pineapple sage in the 24-karat cupcake. I would definitely say 3 words to describe Naima and her work would be community, justice for all, and love. She loves her community, she loves the food that she produces, and the reason why I was so attracted to her is because she's not only doing this for herself, but also to sustain the community around her.
When I saw that my community was just slowly deteriorating, it's like, somebody has to do this, dun, 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 kind of thing. But I don't know, it's definitely, I surprise myself sometimes because I think about what I have been able to accomplish. It's like, wow, I didn't see this when I started, So when I was 17, I was incarcerated. I had to plead guilty because I had a public defender. Unfortunately, I couldn't afford a lawyer. I had already pled guilty, and I was just kind of waiting for my sentencing. And through that time, I turned 18. And so once I turned 18, they refiled, and it was an adult offense, which turned into a robbery too. So second-degree robbery is a felony. Of course, I'm terrified. Like, what does that mean? And you could 10 years and $10,000 fine. It's like insane for me. There's so many ways that I could have maintained my freedom and still learned my lesson. But unfortunately, with that stigma, I was a violent offender. And so fresh 18, brand new adult, and I had this cloud over me. Part of this was a lot of people going out on a limb, even myself. It's like, I didn't know how to be a farmer. I for sure didn't know how to be an executive director for a nonprofit, but because people pushed me, I think being able to see people that looked like me leading the charge for social justice organizing, and really Reverend Angela just saying, hey, we'll tack it on your rent, don't pay anything extra, you guys can do it. So for me, that's where it started, and it's just continued to grow.
All right, let's see. I'm gonna put it back in the ground, right here.
One of the things that Naima is doing is bringing the community together through urban farming. She's teaching a lot of people about growing and sustainability, food justice, and what people can do in their own backyards. I've seen her go and install gardens with people and their children. So she's gotten the whole community really passionate about growing and food justice. So I really appreciate the work that she's doing. She's even impacted my family. Definitely planted a seed of passion about growing and agriculture. And so I think that has really rippled through the community of South Seattle.
Naima's work means a lot to me because Naima, just being a strong Black woman in the farm system, is showing she's putting forth history, culture, injustice, and how by reaching down into the dirt, how we can use that as a tool to empower our own self and our own community.
A young girl came up and asked me for my autograph. And for me, of course, I was in theater forever, so I used to practice my autograph all the time. And at that moment, it was like, am I a celebrity? Like, is this really working? And to impact a young person like that. There's been a lot of moments. But that was one of those moments I even told her, like, I'm sorry, I'm gonna cry right now. But I think just having the affirmation from kids, my nephew, my nephews and nieces coming here and them being inspired, it's like those were the moments that made me think that Nurturing Roots made it,
There you go. Now pull it. Walk back. Yep.
Social justice prevails by those most affected being incorporated into that solution. But I know there's a lot of ideas that just say, you just need someone to show you the way. It's like, no, we need to show you what works for us. So I think it prevails by, organizations like Nurturing Roots being lifted up and being able to stand on the same stage as Seattle Tilth or Parks and Recreation and band arms, but them actually lifting, me higher. So being able to reach into communities and value the lived experience, being able to see how we are impacted. I think a lot of it's the education piece, but social justice starts with you knowing. You have to understand what's at play, and then you have to understand how you can transition out of it. But definitely social justice is building, a brighter, I hate to say brighter future, but building something better than what you've had the opportunity to see. Like, a lot of us don't know what it looks like to be a Black farmer, so I had to make it work, so a lot of times you have to know that you may not see it, but it needs to be done, and you know how to do it, so just do it. Trust that instinct.